how you say, sick and tired of the trauma, but he's dealing with all of this. I didn't realize my deep hatred for Sophie until I started filming this video. Hello everybody, today let's talk about some sports romance. F1 romance to be specific. Earlier this year, I found myself at the Shanghai Grand Prix. It was really awesome. Only problem is I know nothing about Formula One. I know nothing about sports. So I needed to get myself into the world really quickly. And how did I do that? I did that by reading Lauren Ash's Dirty Air series. And now I'm going to tell you all about it. Because maybe you're like me. Maybe your bestie, your sig of somebody important in your life is into F1 and you know nothing about it, but you want to join them and you want to support their passions and their hobbies. You should definitely read some F1 sports romances because it's a lot more interesting than watching sport. Let me tell you that much. Long story short, I'm going to talk about the 4 books in the Dirty Air series. And what's really cool about the series is that you can really just pick and choose whichever ones sound interesting to you and read those as standalones. Or you can read them in chronological order like a series and get just as much enjoyment out of them. What's cool about it is that you don't have to read the others, but it does give you some insights about the background or side characters in the novel, and then you just feel like you're in the know. You're one of the cool kids, you know what's happening. Let's talk about Throttled. Like all the other books, is a dual POV, and we follow Noah and Maya. Maya is the sister to Santiago, who is a young new Formula One driver, and she is a college graduate. She just graduated film school and she's decided to take a gap year. Now in a gap year, she's going to follow her brother around the world and she's going to start kind of like a travel vlog, and naturally her content kind of evolves to include some Formula One behind the scenes, and we also just get to see her navigate life after college. What does she want to do with her life? And we see her making some friends, having some really cool female friendships as well as some other people. She has a really heartwarming relationship with her brother and her family, but we also get to see her overcome some of her own personal issues as being the younger sibling to a very successful person and the pressures that places on her. It was nice to see the world from Maya's point of view. She is kind of a sweet, bit feisty, and a little bit naive person, but it was nice to see the world from her point of view. Then that leads us to Noah. Noah is a legend. He is the F1 driver to beat, and he has kind of one goal, and his goal is to get another championship under his belt. And sweet Noah, when we meet him, he treats women like absolute trash. He wears his asshole badge proudly. I don't know if I can redeem him for that, but that is how we meet him, as this womanizing asshole. Now, he is teammates with Maya's brother. They are F1 teammates for Bandini. Ferrari. So, they are teammates, but also rivals. They had a little bit of an incident before they were teammates, and that hostility is still there. The tropes that we can find in this first novel are friends to lovers as well as brothers rival to lovers. Is that a thing? It is now. We get to see the two people from their very different family lives and their very different places in society come together, and it's quite a wholesome book. Now, all these books are pretty smutty, let me tell you. So if you are a smut lover, I think you'll like this. I wouldn't say it's crazy smutty, but I think you'll like it. If you do not like smut, there is a lot of tension, a lot of passion, but you could skip a couple of chapters and you would still be fine. You would get the connection. You would know what's happening in these books. Coming back to Noah and his problematic start in this book, I don't know that his character arc was well fleshed out enough for me. I feel like the correlation between his womanizing and his troubled past with his atrocious family was enough justification for how we see him treat women in the beginning, because it kind of just seemed a little bit like, oh, I found the perfect woman, so now I won't treat her like trash. It's not oh, I should have never treated my lovers like shit. It's oh, I found a great woman, so now I won't treat her like shit. And that was a bit annoying and not my cup of tea, let me say. But if I could just put that all aside and I just ignored his crimes against humanity, I could get on board. They did the slow burn well enough that I was I was a damn fool. Okay, so if you too can ignore the fact that he's a misogynist, great love story. Great book. So that brings me to the second book in the story called Collided. So in Collided, we follow Liam and Sophie. Now, Liam is a F1 driver for another team, McCoy, I think it is. So in my head, McCoy, McLaren, maybe Mercedes. Maybe they're Mercedes. In my head, because they were orange, it's McLaren. But anyway, that doesn't matter. Liam is, I think, the number 1 or number 2 driver for McCoy. And he is a lovable golden retriever, apple of the eye boy. He is funny and he's charismatic, and his biggest shame is that he loves to read books at night. So I mean, of course, we are all swooming for the golden hair sports dude who reads books in his spare time, you know what I'm saying? Sudden segue. A terrible life-changing event happens to him, and we kind of just see the life drain out of him a little bit, and he isolates himself a lot, and we just get to see a wounded golden retriever boy, and it breaks our itty bitty hearts. Now, Sophie is an heiress, but she doesn't act like it. I'll get to that later. Sophie has been brought up in the F1 world, okay? Her dad is the team principal for Bandini Ferrari. She's grown up in this world, but she is a very reasonable girl, and her dad has kept her quite sheltered from life and from the F1 world. Anyway, she's in university and she's struggling. Life is boring. Her dates are boring. All the boys in her college are boring. Everything is boring.
All the shit I hear is boring. All the shit I do is boring.
And she decides, what's gonna fix my life? A bucket list, a fucket list, let me say. So she creates this bucket list in a drunken haze of all the sexually explicit, scandalosy things that she can do, and that's really exciting. And she sets off. She's going, I'm gonna follow my dad around the Let me not say she's gonna follow her dad around. This is not incestuous, okay? I'm sorry for that. She just decides, hey dad, can I do my courses online, and can I go around for the F1 season? I want to travel a little bit. Come on, Daddy Warbucks, let's go. He begrudgingly says yes, and I mean, what better place to complete a bucket list than the F1? I don't know. Show me it. My biggest issues were with Sophie in this one. Like previously it was with Noah, now it's with Sophie. Sophie's dad is Toto Wolff. Okay, he is the team principal. He rich as hell, but she's always talking about being a broke student. Where are we broke, babes? We're not. Anyway, push that aside. We're all dumb when we're in college. She was written like a pick-me. It's like, I'm wearing Converse sneakers because I'm not like other girls, and all my t-shirts have really funny, quirky sayings because I'm funny, and girls are not funny. And I really just didn't enjoy that part of her character, how she was written. It was just unnecessary. Like, she can be cool but still be like other girls because girls are cool anyway. 1, you're not broke, your dad is Toto Wolff. 2, sneakers are not a personality trait. We get it, you have cool sneakers, okay? I didn't realize my deep hatred for Sophie until I started filming this video. Okay, my bad. Let's forget that I hate Sophie. She is fun and she's sweet. Forgetting that I hate her, she really did bring a great plot device to the book, which was the bucket list. I don't know. I thought it was really fun. I too enjoyed ticking things off lists, and I just liked that that was how we joined the two worlds. That's how we joined our two characters, through the bucket list. It was just really fun and I really enjoyed it. And also, it brought with it tons and tons of smut. So, with this one, I found myself skimming some of the smut because I was just like, yes, we get it. But the first first 1 or 2 I enjoyed. But besides that, you could skip it and just know that something was ticked off and be fine with it. I both enjoyed this book a little bit more than Throttled and didn't. Confusing. I know. Okay, so why I enjoyed it more than Throttled is I found that the male character's character arc was much more intriguing, much more genuine, and I just cared a lot more for the male lead. His story was really quite heart-wrenching to me, and I felt that the way that the incident that happened in his life related to his character and how he was dealing it just seemed quite realistic and was heart-wrenching, and I just really enjoyed seeing that character arc. Again, I like the bucket list, and I just found the characters were a little bit more relatable, a little more wholesome. I just enjoyed them interacting more than I did the characters from Throttled. I didn't know that. Now we all know that. How exciting. Ultimately, I enjoyed this book. I had a good time reading it, and I read it in a couple of days. So it was a quick, easy read, a little heart-wrenching, but I liked it. So now let's talk about the third book in the series. If my opinions were conflicted for Collided, Wrecked is even more so. I don't even know what to tell you. Okay, so we follow Jax and we follow Elena. This book has one of my favorite tropes, which is Grumpy Sunshine. Grumpy Sunshine. I love Grumpy Sunshine, the black cat, the golden retriever. Oh, it's just a good time for me. I like a grumpy and a happy people. We follow Jax, and on the surface, Jax seems like your regular cold-hearted womanizing fuckboy, but underneath he is so much more.
Because she may seem like your typical selfish, backstabbing, slut-faced hoe bag, but in reality, she is so much more than that.
He just covers up a deep, dark secret. What the on the surface, Jax is cool, calm, collected. He is kind of like all the other Formula One drivers, all the other athletes: alcohol, women, drugs. But he is using those things to hide a secret, to hide this other part of himself he doesn't want the world to know. And he is leaning into his bad boy role a little too heavily, and that means that now his F1 team needs to call in the big dogs and get him a PR rep. Get him a PR rep. And his PR rep, why can't I say rep? His PR rep is Elena. Now, Elena has had a hard life, and she just needs financial freedom. So she takes on this job because, I mean, it's F1, they're gonna pay, you know. So she takes on this job, and she will do absolutely nothing but the best to get that check. But Jax is hiding a deep dark secret, so he's gonna stop at nothing to be the bad boy that he is, and boom, okay? That's our story. These two are just two immovable forces colliding, not the second book, wrecking, colliding to create a big old hurricane, and we are just along for the ride, okay? Let me say, Elena and Jax have some of the most heart-wrenching, traumatic backstories across the board in these series, and the topics were a lot darker, a lot harder. So this one, maybe check the trigger warnings before you read it. Devastating. You're devastated. They have the most devastating traumatic backstories. At this point in the series, I am a little bit, how you say, sick and tired of the trauma. I'm a little bit sick and tired of the deep dark backstories, and maybe it's because I read it as a series. I just gunned through all these books, but check for the trigger warnings. Make sure you're okay to read this much trauma in a short span of time. Focusing again on Wrecked with Jax and Elena, there was this little bit of this, there was this part of the story where they're talking about Jax taking Xanax. And I know he's taking unprescribed medication, but the way that there was just this one scene, the way they were talking about the Xanax, like this man doesn't have crippling anxiety, and they were like, you know, just don't. Anyway, when you get there, you know, and then please come back and tell me how you feel about it. Maybe you can put it into words why it bothered me, because I can't. Anyway, it was just like, oh no, don't take Xanax. Here, I have a handwritten note. This will fix you. And I'm like, The themes were quite a bit darker than the others. Also, quite a bit less F1 in this book than the others. So if you truly are here for the F1, I'm going to say Throttled and Collided have the most F1. This one, F1 is a little more in the backdrop. And that brings us to Big Daddy Redeemed, the fourth and final book in the series. Now, again, dual POV, we follow Santiago and Chloe. Do you remember Santiago from Throttled? Yes, he is Maya's brother. And I was really excited to actually get a book from his POV because we see him in Throttled and then I don't see him again until Redeemed. So I was very excited for his book. The tropes in this book are fake dating. Another one I'm a little bit of a sucker for. So again, I was there for it. I was in it. So, like I said, we haven't seen or heard much from Santiago since Throttled, for good reason. His life has changed dramatically from the Santiago we knew and loved in Throttled. And for some reasons, he's become a wee bit of a recluse. He's become a little bit of a beast, hiding in a castle in a remote location. Maya comes to visit him at the worst possible time, and one thing leads to another, and he needs to pretend like he's in a relationship just to ease some of his sister's anxiety about him. Okay? And so that leads us to, who is he fake dating? He's fake dating a woman named Chloe. Okay? And how did Chloe end up fake dating the beast in the castle? Well, with the help of some vodka and a DNA quiz, a DNA test, she has come to Italy. Yeah, she has gone to Italy to find her father. One thing leads to another, and now she's fake dating Santiago. So my opinion on Redeemed is that it's the least Formula One orientated books out of the series. So if you're here for the sports mainly, this is not going to be the first one for you to pick up. Actually, never read Redeemed first. I know you can say I know I said you can read them all out of order, not Redeemed, not this one. Anyway. So, my opinion on this is that the characters were, I won't say unlikable, but I just didn't connect with the characters in this novel the way I found ways to relate to some of the other characters in the other novels. But I did love the small town backdrop. I loved the setting of the book, and I really liked the different side characters we met. The character arcs were interesting, particularly with Santiago. I really enjoyed seeing his character arc, even though he was a little bit annoying at times. The themes in this book dealt a lot with self-love, self-acceptance, and just healing. I am not sure what or how I feel about Ye Old Redeemed, but it was a good time. I finished the book. I like seeing Santiago again, seeing where he ended up, but it was not my favorite in the series. So that is that for the Dirty Air series. The writing style of all these books, like I said, is really straightforward, pretty easy to get into, but it did take a little bit of an adjustment for me because it was all first person and I'm more of a third person girly, so that took me out of it a little bit. And also I just find, despite my feeling like a lot of these books followed similar arcs and similar patterns, I guess maybe because they're romance books and they're following similar beats, I was still gripped by the story and I still cared about the characters and I'm still moved by what happened to the characters in the book. So that's why I wouldn't not recommend these books. The vibes were strong, the vibes were good, which is not surprising. Have you seen Lauren Ash's Instagram? The covers are magnificent. Her Instagram feed, magnificent. The vibes are strong, let me say that. These books are good vibes, good, strong vibes. But I really enjoy this. I found like it was an easy way to find out about the F1 world. It wasn't overdone. It was kind of explained to me a little bit too, so it was nice. I enjoyed it. It was warm, it was cozy. It was a nice read. It didn't change my life. I don't find myself thinking about the characters often, but I really liked it, and it was a great way to join the F1 world. So that's the Dirty Air series. Now, these are not the only F1 sport romance books I try to read. I try to read Drive. I forget who the author is. I'll put it somewhere here. But I tried to read Drive. I just couldn't. I really couldn't. I thought, oh, let me give it a couple of chapters. It's going to get better. It did not. I don't care what was going to happen, but that male lead, the Formula One driver, no. There was no redeeming his misogyny and his disgusting personality. So I just had to stop because there was no way I was going to get over him being a schmuck. So that was a straight DNF. There was another one, something Monte Carlo, was just like the book version of Melatonin. It seemed quite annoying and boring, although I didn't give it a good chance. It was just like, I was just a chapter or so in, but no. But then the surprising hit of this all was Fast and Hard. Now, I didn't want to read this book. This one I thought was going to be the DNF because the cover is just like some dude and some abs, you know, it's like Fast and Hard. I was like, cringe. That one's going to be awful. So good, okay? The dude is Scottish. He got an accent. He's sassy as hell. She's sassy as hell. They rescue cats. Cats are rescued. Cats are loved. That one was a really good book. That one was also a forced proximity PR person has to save the reputation of a bad Formula One driver. Oh, it was so good. So if you're in it to win it, you got to read Hard and Fast too. Hard and Fast? Hard and Fast too. Yeah, if you like Lauren Nash's Dirty Air series, I think you'll like Fast and Hard. It was a lot smuttier. But it was good. I really liked it. So that was my journey into the world of sports romance and F1 romances to be particular. And these were my completely unqualified thoughts and opinions as someone who's neither into romance novels or sports books. And there you go. I hope you enjoyed it. Please tell me if you hate my opinions, if you agree with my opinions. Have you read any of these books? Did you like them? Was Sophie as insufferable for you as she was for me? Let me know. Till next time, bye!